Hey everyone, this is DayTraderRockStar, and this is a special presentation, special watch list, and I'm going to call this the 2014 special high probability watch list Christmas bonus. So much to go into this video right now. I'm doing it on Friday, a little bit before Christmas, December 20th. It goes out as normally our HPS, what we call the HPS watch list. But because we're near Christmas and we're coming towards the new year, and we had such a great watch list that is actually active right now, and I've added to them, once a year I'd like to just kind of give back, and kind of open up this as a free view of what a high probability watch list is all about. So tonight, in this special watch list, I kind of named this the 2014 best trades of the year. 2014, going into 2014. Because I think all these, we've really gotten a great watch list that has really keyed in on important HPS qualities. The market, that we've been following the market. You can see the market right on the screen right now. The notes go out. We've been calling each one of these flags, and you can actually see this fast rotation back last week. And that first fast rotation, these are notes from last week. I said the fast rotation back is very bullish. Nothing looks out of the ordinary. Overall, because of the fast rotation in the daily stochastics, I'm calling for a technically sound pullback that is a buying opportunity. And from this point on, we of course had the Fed announcement, and that actually, the taper came and went. That was bought into. We had a big follow through on that, and it looks like game on again. The flag is breaking out, and the stochastics are acting great. We just got oversold. Pushing back into overbought levels, but we're also pushing new highs. So this is actually acting out pretty good. I mean, we could easily get back up here in bed and continue to move higher. Doesn't look out of the ordinary. What looks out of the ordinary is when you get an oversold level and we're holding off for recent lows. And then when you get an overbought level, you want to make new highs. So as these make new highs, things look normal. If these make new lows or higher lows and the stochastics make new lows, the trend is intact. And that's exactly what we're showing here. So until that changes, there's nothing else to be said about this chart. We can break it down on the 60-minute chart, and you can actually see some of the interesting aspects of this chart. Well, we talked about what we call a lane divergence. Lane divergence is one of the stochastic originally the stochastics were developed as a divergence indicator, really depending on price action and momentum, and being able, the stochastics here kind of reading the momentum and kind of keying in on momentum as momentum either stalls out or dries up or picks up. So in case you start to notice that momentum shifts from the sell side to the buy side, we start to put that higher low in, even though the stock is making lowers here. This is the trend here, the momentum shifting before the price, and that's the divergence, and that tells you that the price is going to change soon after. So we're able to actually spot the divergence here in this last flag, here in this flag, and recently, believe it or not, this last pullback here, and it had to do a lot with, of course, the lead up to the Fed and the Fed numbers and stuff, but we actually did make a low here, a lower low, but a higher low in the stochastics when that made a low, another divergence. So these are all very positive scenarios that are playing out in the markets. We just broke out today. We had a very good close, and game on for next week. We go into the Christmas week. Christmas week starts at Christmas, a Santa Claus rally, the day after Christmas, leading into the first 2 days into January. Typically one of the most bullish times of the year. And the way the market acted today, I called it the bulldozer market. We kind of just bulldoze right up. Don't mind this last candle here. This is just a kind of a late print, kind of a weird thing here. But this is basically what we looked like today. We took off, and we just grind it up, and you can see that's just a late print there that gets printed in here, and it just kind of messes up my charts there. But we kind of bulldozed all the way up. We got oversold. We actually sell up nice for Monday. They called us another Cyber Saturday coming up on the board. So we're going to go over this. Again, we're going to call this the 2014 Best Stocks of the Year HPS Special Edition for Christmas bonus. Normally, let me just kind of introduce myself. I'm DayTraderRockStar. And I do this watch list every week for the members of Day Trading Radio, subscribers of Day Trading Radio. Among the other things, we have the platform, we have the HPS methodology, which is this site right here. All these are broken down into charts. All these charts are listed, all put in. You get the activated alerts. When they alert, we're going to go over all this. But other than that, we have the the platforms. We got everything here at Day Trading Radio for your trading needs. And you can see this is an example. We sent this alert out today, and this is another great example of that divergence play. But we're going to talk more about that in a bit. All right, so let's just get back to our focus right now, and let's talk about HPS and what HPS means. HPS, or high probability setups, basically is a methodology that I've developed over the years that combine multiple high probability indicators that work most in the market. But we don't just take one indicator. We take the best indicators. We line them up, including chart patterns, trend lines, channels, the stochastic momentum, and just basically 5 of them. There's really just really great 5 of them that really take place. And what we do is we wait for those to line up. We activate the alerts on those. When they all line up and they hit the alerts, you get the emails. I take the trades. You get the alerts if I do take a trade, and it goes from there. And today's watch list is basically the last 2 weeks that really have shown us this pullback as being a really nice pullback, and the setups that have been leading into it. So you're getting a kind of a bonus here, because the setups going into the beginning of the first year are so good, the quality names are so good, and it's a well-rounded overview of HPS and what it's about. So for this is your Christmas gift. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you check out Day Trading Radio. Right now, the subscription is $29.95. Going into 2014, January 10th, we raised the price to $49.95, so you can lock yourself in to a lifetime, of greatness here. You don't have to worry about any kind of raise in price. When you're a member of Day Trading Radio, my what am I thinking of? My promise to you is I don't raise prices. So for those people who are in here, $14.95. We're still here, $14, $24.95. They're in $24, $29.95. They're in $29. Next up, $49.95. It's been 7 years. This is a big year for us, 2014. So get in before the raise. You'll be locked in forever. We're only going to get better and bigger. And this is like a stock price. You're buying cheap and you sell high. All right, so let's kick this off. These are the best trades of 2014. Great HPS setups. Let's start it off. All right, let's start off by taking a look at the HPS website. The HPS website is connected to the Day Trading Radio dashboard, or you can just get to it by the links on the site. And again, this is a members site, so you have to be a member of Day Trading Radio. But basically what it is the methodology broken down into each individual stock we pay attention to. We have I have a list of focus stocks, quality names. I go through a scan of hundreds of stocks each week, and we take the best of the stocks and we wait for them. We wait for them to set up on certain setups. We have a playbook plays, high probability setups that work out when combinations of indicators and trend lines and trends, stochastics, moving averages, and everything all converge to a certain level. And these are logically the best setups in the market. You can't argue them. You can't argue with it. You could argue getting into a bad stock and trying to pick up a bottom, but you can't argue getting into a great stock and picking up that great stock on a pullback. All right, so we try to stay with the concentrated great stocks, concentrate on when they give us the best opportunities to get in for the next big move, and that's what these things. And then you're going to see that same theme here kind of portrayed in each one of these setups. So we just kind of scroll down. You can see what the site is, and again, this is a free preview. This is a live look at all the stocks on the HPS watch list going into next week, Christmas week, and we have the new ones. The green little buttons here represent that these are active. And when we send these out, you get a buy trigger, a sell trigger, a stop on these. And usually you have stock that's waiting for these things. We're waiting for it to hit our buy trigger. We'll be saying watching. Stocks that have hit its buy zone or buy trigger will have a green mark on it. Stocks that have hit its target will have a gold or an orange one, and stocks that hit its stop will have a red one. So they automatically update. These are all connected to your account. So when they do say apply material actually hits its setup, which it's did today, we sent this out, and you can see what we look for on an HPS setup. Kind of outline what the education part is. This is a great example because this was also an example of what we call a lane divergence. And lane divergence, stochastic divergence, an important indicator for Day Trading Radio for myself. And it's basically you're making a series of lower lows and the stochastics make a series of higher lows as the price is making lower lows. And what this is telling us is momentum is shifting before the price is shifting, and to prepare for a price shift. And this is technically it's just such a great setup, and I want to show you great examples of that later on. But this is a setup that we sent out today. You can see that we have this is something I've entered on the 9th. It's a pure lane divergence. We call it a lane divergence. He's the creator and the founder of the stochastic oscillator. Also an X marks the spot, which is a my DayTraderRockStar setup. Meaning there's two trend lines converging, and you want to take that that area of support, the dual area of support. But when that lines up with a stochastic lane divergence, and it also has a recognizable flag, then this becomes a very high probability setup. Profit target $17.50 to $18. As we break out of this flag, we should move right up to that, and you'll get the alert to that. Even if you're not in front of your computers, you might be at work, you'll get the email. You'll be able to say, oh, all right, it's taking profits. Let me throw in my order, get rid of that stock. Stop, the stop's being hit. Let me get out of the stock. All right. Great example. This one's active today. It was a new one on the watch list. It looks great. Again, great because it's a lane divergence. Now, normally with the video watch list, I like to kind of put out education with it. Like, what is a lane divergence? What are stochastics? And for the first time, these might be some of the terms you might not be familiar with. Well, the education behind all these setups, I try to put out with the videos. Lane divergence, I did a good update on that not that long ago. I did a post on the site Day Trading Radio. I did a post on the site talking about the lane divergence. And let's just take a fast look at it right now. You can see this is the one we normally see. It's where the stochastics and the price diverge. The price making a series of lower lows, but the stochastics here making a higher low. And that's exactly what we're seeing. This is what it looks like on an individual chart. So if we look at the chart here, go back out there. Oh, I lost it all. And I'm back to my thing. All right, you can see the example here. You see the stochastics here making a higher low, and the price here making a lower low. Again, a couple other examples here. Lower lows, resistance, breakout, bullish divergence, higher low on the stochastics. And here's an example of the sell side, or the shorting type of a higher high, but a lower high on the stochastics. So we don't make that higher high on the stochastics, meaning it's a short sub. So it works both ways, and it's a good example here. And again, this is posted on the chart. This was something that we recently, this is the example I'm kind of talking about right now. But you can see the setup here is very similar, but it's great when you see it happen live. We just recently came out of this setup. Higher lows, stochastics, lower lows on the price. Fantastic setup. All right, so that's what we're dealing with right now on Applied Materials, breaking out of the channel. All right, so let's go to the next setup. You can see that's green. The next one is Quest Diagnostics. Quest Diagnostics DGX. Again, you would just click on the plus sign here. Again, these are all the same thing. The chart will pop up. Give it a second to pop up here and fill it in. This is all from TradingView. And you can follow all my charts on TradingView. If you go to tradingview.com and you follow DayTraderRockStar, you can follow it. And then again, this is what we call a pivot point bounce area. Not really a defined channel, but the 3 pivot is usually a great one. We're actually picking it up on the 4th pivot. You can see a nice reversal off of that level, just starting to push back up. And it looks key. You just have to identify this as an HPS setup because of the underlying trend line, because of the oversold stochastic, because other things that are lining up multiple time frames. This ends up getting a good reaction off of this. Buy zone 53.50 to 52. Stop, very tight stop right underneath this. And target 54 to 55. Decent target on that. All right, here we have Kellogg. And one thing I always talk about is watching stocks kind of set up the same way in a group. When you start to see channels develop, you start to see channels develop on a lot of different stocks. Lower trend line bounces, a lot of bounce, 200 period moving average tests, a lot of stocks testing those. This market has given us a perfect opportunity on some pullbacks most of the indicators have been oversold. The stochastics have rotated back down to oversolds. We've come down to trend lines, and in some cases, multiple trend lines, which makes the X marks the spot as one of the good indicators. So if we take a look at the setups here, we have this underlying trend line. Pretty easy to see here. You know, it starts way back out here. We have a recognizable channel here. So we know that this is a larger flag. We have an oversold stochastic here. But this downward channel, you know, we have a nice little downward channel here. And you can probably see that on the 60-minute chart. And as this downward channel, lower part of that channel, and the upward channel meet, really causes the X marks the spot type of trade right in this zone. And really the best place to take this trade over the last, especially because the stochastics are lined up. It's called, you know, an HPS setup. So again, it makes a good reason why this one's on the list. And you can see it's starting to react nice. Here's a 60-minute chart, and we break down each one of these charts from the daily to the 60 for you. And you can see, you know, it came down. It started giving it's not guaranteed that it's going to touch the trend line each time. The object here is to get a position in a zone, a high probability zone. The stochastics are the main, one of the main indicators here, so we want to pay attention to that more than the trend line. Sometimes you get caught up saying, well, I want the trend line to be touched, and I want the stochastics to. Lots of times that'll happen, but not all the times. But the stochastics tend to rotate more if you don't touch that trend line, and you get oversold, and you get just a nice pullback. Lots of times you'll get that bounce. You get the overbought levels and the pullbacks, and you see the rotation here really starting to play out. So it's just one of the rules is just take a look at your multiple time frames, the 60 and the daily, and make sure you're in the right direction of that trade. That's half the battle. You know, the other half of the battle is just picking up those emails and saying, oh, there's another HPS setup. So 60-minute chart looks pretty good, downward channel, even though we are crossing back over. Remember, the short-term traders pay attention to oversold, overbought, understanding once we get overbought, you know, there's a chance of a pullback. What we really start to look for a breakout of a channel is a divergence. That means a rotation back and the price maintaining a higher low, and then it's off to the races. So the daily looks good. Kellogg looks like, and again, these are all stocks going out for 2014. These are nice two-channel come down. This is a textbook level. You love it, right? Look at the candle. Look at how it's reacting off of that candle, starting to push up. Buy zone 60.50, $60 profit zone. Third trade of Christmas. What does this mean? Well, I also got a thing going on, the 12 trades of Christmas. Some of the best trades going into Christmas. This was the third trade of Christmas. All right, next up here is Verizon. Now, Verizon, of course, well-known name. Underlying trend line here is really nice, and there's a downward trend line. I'll identify in another chart here. Actually, there's a couple retracements and stuff, but I want to let's bring you back over to this chart just to give you a clean view of it without no alerts or anything. And you can see there was an underlying trend line here that which we had to break down. We did break down through, but really the true underlying trend line probably came in down here, which we started to make a little divergence back. But this is on a 60-minute chart. The daily is much clearer, and you can see that underlying trend line, the flag, the call stochastics, the X marks the spot, everything here looking great. X marks the spot type of trade. We've been seeing this play out over and over again. And what else do we see here? And actually, I forgot to mention something on the other chart. We'd had to have another stochastic divergence. But here, what we have here is, again, let's update the chart, and you can see what happened here is we chopped around, moved up into our profit zone, hit the profit, now it's pulled back. So I mean, this is really one of those successful type of trades. It came right down to the buy zone, went right up into the profit zone. It's chopping around. Still think there's a lot of upside on this one, and it looks like it's ready now. It really does. A 60-minute chart can be easily watched now for a re-entry if you have profits or if you're still in it. Take a look at that 60-minute chart. You start to see that rotation back down. We start to get oversold here. Hold off of this recent low. We should start to trend back up. So it looks really good still. Again, X marks the spot type of trade is a playbook trade. You can find that on the forum at Day Trading Radio. Again, call stochastics channel. Everything still looks good here for further upside on Verizon VZ. Activated. Next stock up here, and again, this is These are some of the best stocks here going into 2014. And we're going to get to the next one here. CHL. Put that on today. And this is, what I love about the HPS is being able to recognize an HPS setup before it happens. There's a concept that I use called a 1-2-3 pattern, identifying 3 pivots. All right, showing you how to do that with the stochastics, how to understand the channels and how channels are made, understand the change of trend, and basically we have a setup here where we have the potential of that stock trading down here. So what we've done on this is basically put an alert down there. Take the program on the site, sets us up. We have an alert down here in the 50-40 to 49.50 area, and that gives us a beautiful HPS channel setup. It looks very good here. I put some notes out today. This is one out today. It looks really good on the support line here. Could actually move higher. One of the strategies here is slow entry here. If it does pull back onto this level, additional entry, get your cost average right around here, that 50-60, 50-50 area, and then you have a nice move back up to 51. But I'm going to wait for this trade to work out. If it comes down to this level, this one has some Apple news pending on it. Also, it looks like a great setup off of this lower trend line. So in some cases, the best strategy is just to wait and let the trade come to you in this case. Next stock up here is Mattel. Mattel, again, just off of recent highs. Usually when we get a nice pullback, a recent high, recognizable channel, everything here lining up right, but this is past where we are interested in it. We're not here. But we are recognizing a nice little flag here. That flagged out. We sent out an alert today with the oversold stochastic, holding the 20 period moving average, not that far off the highs, quality name, good stock. This is what it looks like on the HPS site, and you can see we have a nice, just a flag, and today we actually popped through the buy trigger. The buy trigger was at 45.40. Now sometimes you see a profit a buy zone and a buy trigger. Buy trigger is usually buy on strength. Want to really confirm the strength, confirm a breakout of that level. Some of it is a pullback like we just seen on CHL into a lower trend line. So in either case, you get the alert, the stop 44 set. Target here above us. And again, this is a strong stock. Looks good. Standard flag, and already breaking out, closing on the highs of the session. Again, this went out during the day also in the room and through the emails and stuff. So it's important just to kind of, if you value your time in research, and if you want just the best setups, flags, channel line bounces, things that are that are not high risk, but the most logical trades, then this is a good setup on Mattel, M-A-T. Now here comes one of the trickiest trades going right now, the gold trade. Gold has been trending down. I've been concentrating on Newmont mining here because we started seeing some good signals here. We had a gap down, and then a kind of reversal, and then gold here dropped out this week. We dropped at like $40 one day, and Newmont mining, all the gold stocks got chopped down. But we started coming reversing, and it was like, we are still in a situation where we are now making lower lows, but the stochastics haven't rotated back down to the new lows. So we're actually making a lane divergence here. And typically this means that there might be some higher numbers coming up on the stock. So currently holding a little Newmont mining is down off of this level. There's an underlying trend line which very possibly could be touched. Probably be a great trade, but I have a feeling I would love to see this gap down and just kind of trade hold and this to start to move back up. I think early next week we have a very important level to watch on this, and we could actually start breaking above the 2-day high. The reversal might be in, and again this could actually fall across the GLD, which is the gold ETF. Different, I see the stochastics here a little bit different. The daily here rotating back down, getting oversold, versus the NEM, which we are not getting oversold. We're oversold, but actually holding levels here. Possible divergence there. Newmont mining, what does it look like? Well, let's take a look at it. It doesn't look great. It's probably the least favorite stock here. And again, you can see the gap down, a little reversal. You can see we're right here. It did get stopped out on the HPS, right on the thing. I'm still actually holding mine. Put these in here to alert you. It's right on that stop. It's kind of holding above it, right on it right now. Gonna give it till Monday. If we have a gap down in it, probably gonna get out of it. Probably call the bottom on it. But I like to see if this thing reverses back up. I think Monday, Tuesday, pivotal day in Newmont Mining and the gold stocks. This was also the second trade of Christmas. We have 4 trades of Christmas out, and you'll see the other ones here tonight. But nice channel, no doubt about it. When it does move, it will move. It's just about being at the right time in the right place and not giving up on it, or not being too heavy in it if it does move down to the lower trend line here one more time. Not that worried about it yet. Occidental Petroleum, OXY. Take a look at this one. This was a setup from this week, and basically just an underlying trend line. You have a nice little flag here that broke out, and then we kind of failed, but that underlying flag line went right down here, combined with the 200, combined with the oversold stochastics, which makes it a multiple indicator, 3 indicator setup, and from that point on, you see a nice little pop off of that and continue to push up. Nice momentum here, spreading down on the stochastics. It is what it is. These are high probability setups for a reason. You see them working out. You take a look at how we've kind of mapped out Occidental Petroleum throughout the last few months. I've been trading this one, and you can see this is an original pattern with underlying trend line. X marks the spot, bounce up to the target. It actually flew right through there. This is really the first rotation, which we call stock book play. Right here there was a short. Now we're right back down to the trend line. The alert went out last week. The alert went out when it pulled into this trend line, and today the profit zone alert went out as it hit the profit zone. So a beautiful bounce at level. You can see why. You see why these are logical, why these are great setups. Occidental Petroleum, great name. Multiple indicators at 200 underlying trend line. The stochastic rotation. Everything here pointed to a bounce, and we got that nice bounce. Now, what's really nice about this is first recognizing these trend lines and stuff and having them written down, and then understanding that once you get that one trade, that initial HPS trade, as this rotates back up into overbought levels, and you have possible shorts and 1, 2, 3 patterns, and different. If this moves up to this level and we get overbought, makes a good argument for a trade, and eventually you might come down to this level over here. It just, these trades become active over and over again. We have this, look at this underlying pivot area, bounce, bounce, bounce. If this, did come down to this level, we want to take advantage of this. This is Occidental Petroleum. So again, that's why we keep these on the watch list, continue to rotate in and out of them, but only give you the HPS setups. Now, again, the HPS setups are combining the 5 important indicators, including reversal candles, along with the stochastics, the channel lines, the trend lines, moving averages, and support and resistance levels. All right, next one up here, Lion Gate Film, the LGF. Again, this is alert went out last week. The buy zone here, 29.28, represents, see a pivot area here, and we really kind of concentrated on this underlying pivot area as a quality name has really pulled back off of 37, coming down to $30. Buy zone 29 to 28, stop 26, profit zone 30. Alert let us know when the price is entering an interesting area with the intraday scalp or swing setup. The buy triggers are used for the alert when I reevaluate it. And again, you can see how this, there we go, pulled right back into the buy zone, and then boom, right back up to the thing. If we actually extended this trend line, you can see actually how it came right up to the trend line, and probably is potential short now. We'll take a closer look at that Lion Gate Film. I wouldn't say it's a potential short until we see this market here kind of stall out, but here it is on this chart. You can see what we concentrated on. I showed you the pivot areas. We got oversold. This is really a multiple indicator setup, a trend line break, a 200 EMA breakdown, lower trend line bounce. This is a 3 pivot buy zone. Again, the Rockstar play. These are all on the forum. The oversold stochastic, almost a a falling wedge pattern. Again, really key levels. Really keying in on these things. And looking forward to always bringing these now, because once you start to get this type of reaction. It doesn't matter what market conditions. As long as you get those really good HPS zones, you have the probabilities. The market here is confined in a downtrend. Normally what I do is just take the same setups, but take them overbought levels. You know, I like the bounces. In a bullish trend, I like to buy good stocks on the pullback, so concentrate on the lower trend lines and get those bounces. The bearish trends, same thing. You concentrate on those pullbacks. The pullbacks would be up. The follow through would be down. Series of, you know, lower highs and lower lows. So right now, great setup on the pullback, back above the 200 period moving average. Again, a great example of what HPS is about. Another great setup for the year 2014 will be IBM. Now IBM, again, you hear about falling wedges. This is probably one of the better examples of a good wedge pattern setup. The right angles of the line, the way things, you know, normally work, and that's 65 to 75% of the wedge zone where you usually get that breakout of the wedge pattern. What I mean by that is you can look at a lot of the videos, but once you establish it as a decent wedge pattern, and we'll just call this one a wedge pattern right now. And understand that you don't want to trade that stock all the way to the end. A wedge pattern typically breaks out about 65 to 75% into the pattern. So if the pattern continued to be a wedge, you would come to a point that would consist of 100%. It would be 0%. That would be 50%. And this would of course be 75% to 60%. And this is the area you usually get a breakout on this. So you can see very similar to this. And the rules of channels and wedges, we look for divergence to kind of time a breakout. We had the recent double bottom here on IBM, and you can see it was pushed right up against that trend line. That's where we ended up. We're getting close to being overbought again. So it's going to be a fight here. We might have a slight pullback before a breakout. But I definitely think we have a good shot of breaking out here. And all right, so you can see we're in that 65 to 75% area. Maybe a little pullback. Let's take a look at what the alert looks like. And again, this was a trade we were in. I was in also. We took it off. Nice little profit up against that 180 level. Early move. You can see we kind of came into our buy zone, pulled back a little, nowhere near the stop, and then pushed right up into our profit zone. We're right up against that trend line. Everything still looks quite good here. Again, I love that the wedge pattern's formed on a big stock. And again, this is going out to 2014, a really nice setup here. So let's continue on. Next up, we have Amgen, AMGN. Again, you see that we've kind of been flagging out. I identified the bigger channel on this, but this is again another rockstar stock. Just off the highs, we just really had to get back into just kind of tagged an oversold level, and then today we started breaking back out of this channel. A couple good candlesticks here, reversals. Just had to wait for that rotation back down. Other than that, nice flag. I think we're going to get some follow through on this. Let's take a look at the chart, what it looks like when you get it in your alerts. You go to the site, you can see the recognizable pattern. It did break down out of this channel a little. And then you can see it actually starting to move back up. So we can move some of these. You can see it right underneath the trend line, pushing right up against that, just behind that profit zone label there. Apologize for that. But another good setup, and expecting this one to hit the profits next week here. Going into that Christmas week and going into 2014, these are great stocks and great setups, and ones that we'll be following closer each week. You get updated alerts to them. The Amgen, of course, a quality name. We're going to go to the next one. If you have any questions, there's tremendous. I have how many videos? Probably 300 videos on the HPS methodology on YouTube. The channel is, just do a search for DayTraderRockStar. You'll see all those videos. And if you, again, a member of Day Trading Radio, go to the forum. You'll see all the setups, what we call the X marks the spots play. We have a coil stochastic channel breakout, stochastic rotation setup, lower trend line bounce, 200 EMA breakdown channel bounce. All these here are based off very similar patterns, but patterns that happen over and over again, and you get it alerted to you when it happens. Here's a good example of let's see here. Excuse me. NCR. Again, you can see the NCR setup. Again, underlying 3 pivot point break, a bounce here. We did chop around and kind of glide down here as we got into oversold. Now starting to push back into that pattern, back up into the 200 period moving average. And this little pullback here, also had to notice that we were going into this Fed meeting. There was also a lot of volatility going into this little pullback. People unsure what was going to go on, and now that things have kind of cleared out, all these patterns are kind of moving back up. So let's take a look at how this pattern is playing out. This is the alert that you get sent. This is and you can see it came right down to that buy zone and right back up into the profit zone. And again, a textbook level. Identifying these channels, it's just key. Key. And that reminds me of key. I can't do it. I've been key. There you go. Apologize if you're not familiar with that. I woke up your cat. Next setup. All right, here's a great one here. Duke Energy. Duke Energy sector, energy sector, utilities. It's very organized, beautiful channel. Again, another multiple indicator setup. We talk about multiple indicators, meaning, what we're looking at here is X marks the spot trade, a stochastic rotation, oversold, lower trend line bounce. Everything here pointed to a great setup right here. So the alert goes out. There's an underlying trend line, 200 EMA break, 200 EMA right here. So let's click on that and see exactly. It came right down to that level, and now we're starting to break back up. And again, still very active. We have a downward trend line we're trying to break out. We're going to move back up into the profit zone on this. Take a look at another great example of what we call a coil stochastic channel breakout. And this is what this is starting to really starting to look like. Downward channel. We coiled up. When we have a channel and a coil, usually we have a breakout of that coil, represents a breakout of the channel. Big day off the 200 period moving average. Everything looks good. We're going to look for some follow through. Again, these all are setting up for 2014. Not that far off the recent highs, and not hitting a trigger yet. So very active. So all these could be found back on the watch list if you want to go back and review these. Again, we concentrate a lot of these during day trading, during the session during the day between 8:30 and 4 o'clock every day. So as we do see these things break out, keep a tight look at it, look on them. Let's continue on. Here we have Cash American. Cash is, again, another beautiful, what we call a 1-2-3 pattern. 1-2-3 pattern is how to recognize channels before the channels show themselves to the general public. So recognize that we have 3 good pivot areas. You can probably count these pivots right here. And you start drawing those trend lines in. As you get down below this one, we start to push this one and realize that there's an underlying trend line down here. And, from that point on, another underlying trend line really gave us the next marks the spot type of setup. Downward trend line. One that you don't see that often. Normally you see that, that trend line where you have, the trends within the pattern. This is a very interesting channel down on the lower portion, but it's still really triggered when it hit this lower trend line and we push back up. And, it is one of those stocks that I took off the table because we started breaking down. But like a lot of times I say, most likely, the shakeout, if the technical levels and HPS setup was there, sometimes that shakeout is just exactly that, a shakeout. Breaks down, takes out some stuff. Next thing you know, you're back into the pattern. That happened on so many different setups. And when you have a quality name, not say this is the most, the best name out there, but a really good underlying channel. And it did actually just kind of flush out and came back, and now we're actually looking really good as it tries to break out of this channel to the upside. So still looking pretty good for a breakout to the upside. Has some momentum here. All right. Well, here we have Xilinx. Xilinx has been on the I've been keeping some of the HPS setups on the site, even though they hit some of the targets, just because they're, when you have a good HPS setup and a very recognizable pattern, there's other plays. There's the lower channel line bounce off of the stochastic oversold level. It's a great one, but when you have a breakout and you have a rotation, that becomes another one. You have a divergence, that becomes another one. So this is 60-minute chart on Xilinx. You can see how it reacted. It actually pulled back into its buy zone, moved up here, tagged its profit zone, pulled back, hit its buy zone again. So this really ends up being qualifies as another setup. See, this is the object. The object is to actually get the best setups, and they happen over time. Like, this is a great setup here, and the next great setup actually ends up coming back here because we start to see a divergence. We have a little support line. Even though we hit the profit, you wait for back here, you take that profit again, you take that entry, the same entry again. If everything is lined up, you have the stochastics, and then you let that thing just fly. And you can see, gapped up here, ran right back up to the profit zone. This is where we currently are now on Xilinx. But again, this will not be on the watch list going into this week because it's hit its target. We have to let this one set back up, get some good channel lines underneath it, identify the next good setup. But that'll come along. It'll come along like everything else is coming along. Yeah. All right. So pretty much got a lot of the setups on the HPS watch list. And in 2014 great stocks of the next year. But also what I'd like to do is also add what I'd like to do each week is put the flags and some of the recognizable future setups that are signing up so you can have those on your notes. PC RFY. Do I have that one on this chart? I think I do, right? This is Panasonic. This is one of the Christmas stocks of the 12 days of Christmas, and you can see that this daily Christmas here is very, very good. This is another alert that's going out in the HPS setup, and I haven't officially you're seeing it for the first time other than the members who've gotten this, and this is just key. It's breaking out. It's really probably one of the best bets under $20. You can see the buy zone $11.50 to $11, the stop $10.50, and profit zone again $12.50 to $14. Definitely expecting this thing to move higher. Love it. Fourth trade of Christmas this was. My true love gave to me. Panasonic, which makes, believe it or not, Tesla batteries, the cells, and of course Panasonic TV, smart TVs, and everything along with that. And this thing has been grinding higher, and the train is rolling on this one. And it's just about understanding the flags and the momentum. Like I said, this thing could be another 5 points higher within a couple months, and just a stealth rally going on right now. Love the setup here in Panasonic. PCRFY. Used to be just PC, but that wasn't politically correct. So they made it PCRFY. All right. So let's just continue on. I got to just get a couple more good setups here for you. And we're going to roll through some of these. Beautiful flag here. Discovery. Textbook flag. One of the best, what you call wide flag. Not a very tight chop, tight thing like this. We like to see this range, and then boom, good setup. Just as classic 1, 2, 3 patterns. Lower trend line breakout. There we are. Discovery. I show you that even though it's past the fact. It's just great to get these. These are ones that we've gone over. Altria, another great setup. Breaking out. PepsiCo. These are all coming off the 200 period moving average setup. SWN starts to look interesting here. And nice sideways channel. About to break out there, SWN. LBTYA, Discovery, Mattel. We went over Mattel as an HPS. KMP. Take a look at this KMP. KMP. This is really, really nice. I hope I mentioned this in the room today. I was so busy, and I don't think I did, but I don't think it's too late. But take a look at this. First of all, you have this downward channel within the channel, the breakout, the rotation. Not really any follow-through bounce, a little bounce and a follow-through. Now we had a great rotation, but this rotation really brings us down to a channel line retracement, brings us back down to support, major support, multiple level of support, and a big candlestick. So you're seeing everything line up here. I put a line here, meaning an indicator. This is a dual, a lower trend line, underlying support, recognizable channel. This is a three indicator setup. Here's a nice candlestick. That's nice, but this is really a combination of a lot of different things, and you can see the follow through. And God, I wish I could have this trade back today. I wish I could get into this. This is KMP, Kinder Morgan Energy. The energy stocks, like them. The Duke Energy, Southern Company, SO. kind of outline this. It's right on support, starting to build back up. There's a nice downward channel. This is divergence. Stochastics here starting to gain momentum. These are, we are set up. We are set up in this sector to really move. Duke, CHL went over that. Baxter, Diamond. Oh, Diamond's looking good. DO. Big candlestick today. That's right. We started that position today on Diamond. Small position started today on Diamond. On an outside day, oversold. Seems a little extended. It's not my favorite stock. That's why I get in very light. Might not even like this one. It's not a pure HPS because it suffers some stock rot. That's when a stock just continually goes down for over 6 months. But the outside day and the volume over the last couple of days makes it interesting for me, so I like that. Someone mentioned POM in the room, and we have great traders that help out and do the research and bring up setups. I don't know, Pepco Holdings, also an energy stock. It's interesting here. I like the oversold level. I like that this has been holding up pretty good, and we're starting to ramp back up. But what's interesting on this one, from January to May, or to January to May, this stock here rallied, and it rallied. You can take a look here. January to May the year before. It's always important to look at that. Always important to look at. Just 1 year doesn't make it. And you can see the January to May trade here the year before traded down. Someone brought it to my attention. I did a little more research on it. We're down at this level. Do we get a January trade May up, or do we get a January the May trade down? It's not an HPS for me, but I wanted to talk about that. Cabela, CAB, took profits on it today. One of the best setups out there, CAB. I would still say this one's heading higher. It's right on the trend line. We're about to break higher. New highs are in front of us. Looking good in a REGN. This could be a monster. Just starting to move out of this channel. I'm in this, and this looks fantastic. I would love to see this thing explode on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I mean, this would be great. Push right back up to the highs, get back over $300. This is the high explosive stock of the week. See if we get over $300 next week on this. That'd be a nice move. And that's about it. But this is what I wanted to do for you. I wanted to send this thing out. This is a good review of the HPS. Some great setups going into next year. We have a light week next week. It's a holiday week. It starts the Santa Claus rally the day after Christmas. But the days leading up to Christmas, well, the markets seem to be acting pretty strong. And I can't see too much happening to the downside, considering all the news that came out this week on the Fed side of stuff. I'm looking forward to next week with everyone. And again, this is a special watch list, Christmas watch list for everyone. I'll be updating this watch list throughout the week, but I wanted to kind of open this up to the public just one time, because we're going to be raising prices going into next year. And right now, this and the dashboard, and you might not even be familiar with the dashboard, but I'll show it to you fast. Let me log in here. Here's the dashboard. Dashboard here really represents a live trade. Look at that. Trading radio. Represents school of stock. So I paused that for a second. But up here you can see all the different things. This is where you see the 10 for 1,000 watch list. Watch list video. There's a video that goes out what you're reading. This is all the videos. The forum, which breaks down all the setups, all the education, the blogs, the support accounts and stuff. Over here we have the trade alert boxes. This is where you see a lot of the trades go throughout the day. So we have all indicators that rotate back through here. We have some bots that are trading along with you. We have news. You can blank them all out. You could adjust them. Here's my trades during the day. You can see all in red. Any notes that I'm doing. HPS trades are the ones in the HPS site. You can see how they automatically trigger and send you an email. The HPS 25 are basically overbought and oversold trend lines, and stochastic settings that rotate back up in the news. Of course, it's real-time news feed, and of course the bots You can see the bots here trading. Get rid of the news, and you can just see the bots by itself. And then, of course, all the add-ons and history and stuff like that. It's very good, and there's so much more. The chat rooms, which we don't even talk about. The hundreds of traders on the in the chat rooms, in the futures rooms, in the stock room, and the options room. Anyway, Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah. Happy holidays. All that good stuff. And we'll see you Monday. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any feedback, questions, comments, you could reach me at dtrs@daytradingradio.com, or you could just tune in each and every day from 8:30 to 4 o'clock each and every day. All right. Good night.